Let's create an orthogonal drawing of your glasswork design in Illustrator. The first thing we need to do is open a new document, A3, horizontal format, and all you'll need is one artboard. Okay. Now we need just to create a border all the way around, which is 10 millimeters from the edge. Take the rectangle tool. You'll only need the line, so knock out the fill and then go from corner to corner, and we have a little rectangle along the perimeter of the format. Now what we want to do is go to Object, Path, Offset Path, 10. Alrighty, okay, so there's our border. Now we need just to delete the original line. Now we would like to create a little title box. So we go to the line tool, or the line segment tool, scroll down to rectangular grid tool. Then just click, don't drag or anything, just one click of the mouse, and this dialog box will open, and what we'll do is we'll give it actual dimensions within this. So width, let's say 70, height 50, and the number of divisions will be 4, and they'll give us in fact 5 little boxes, and vertical divisions 0. And there's our title box, and let's drag that to the bottom right corner, and it will snap into place. And that's the formatting of our final presentation. Let's just lock that layer, so no more work will be done on that layer, and make a new layer, and this layer now will be all the artwork. So let's just give it a name, because later on you'll be creating more layers for dimensioning and so forth. Let's go back to our original design, copy our original design, Command C, go to our new format, Command V. Now there we have. What we're going to do now is actually combine all of these separated components, and to do that we need to zoom in, Command plus, and we need to create a slight overlap. All of these are hollow, whereas the bottom is solid glass. Alrighty, so we can now go to our Pathfinder, and so with Pathfinder, what we want to do is use the first tool, the Unite, and there we have it. So now they're all those components which are hollow have been combined. Before we go any further, we need to make this the correct size, otherwise we won't be able to fit the top information. So I need an approximate, well not approximate, a circle which is equivalent to the largest width of the front view. So I go to my ellipse tool, and my base is the widest part of my design. So I simply align it with the edge of that part, hold the shift key, and bang, I've got myself the exact diameter of that cylinder. I can now take that to the top. Now I need to do this really carefully. I have to have all parts aligned. So Command R brings me a ruler, and then I select the object which I want to align with a guide, and I drag my guide and put it into the middle. Right, now you'll notice that I need some space between the top view and the front view, and I need space between them in order to record the labels. So I need to make all of this a little smaller. So I select all my objects that I need to make smaller. I will now open the object, transform, scale. Okay, here I need to make sure that I'm not scaling down the width of the stroke. That remains unchecked, but I am scaling the corners. So I'll get a feel by hitting preview of what I do. So in uniform, I can highlight that, double click it, and then using the cursor I can just play around with what feels to be the right size. And our scale that we're working on is a scale of 1 to 2, and so we're all kind of working within that limitation. That looks somewhat right, maybe a little smaller again. If we go to 80%, okay. Alrighty, now I need to separate the top view from the front view, and I think it's as low as I want to go because I need to put a label, and I still need to put dimensions as well. And let me center the top. Okay, everything's been centered. Now what we really do need is a space of at least 30 millimeters between the top view and the front view, and the sectional view. So I just find the easiest way to do this is by making a little box, click, and just 30 by 30. Okay, and that will just give me, okay, so that's telling me that I've got to make my actual drawing a lot smaller. So, and go back to my transform tool, but because I've already made the correction about what I'm scaling down, that I'm not scaling down the stroke. See how it's remained 1? If I didn't check that box, that would have been now something like 0.7. So this time, instead of going back to where did I go last time? I went to object, transform, scale. This time I'm going to go to transform. It's this little symbol, which is a little dot inside a little square, and make sure you've got the constraint proportion symbol on, and I'm going to make that smaller again. I think I'm happy with that, and of course my side view will be 30 millimeters this way. Okay. Now what we want to do is create a copy of the front view so we can create a sectional view. I can now get rid of that. So the next thing for us to do is create a little boundary inside to show the thickness of our glass. So we choose only the top portion, which is hollow, and we go back to object, path, offset path. This time it's only minus 2 millimeters. Okay, and there we have it. Yeah, that's quite simple. And we've got one shape which we want to add white for now. This will become obvious a little later. And we've got the external part. Okay, so we want to now create some hatching lines that will go right through the thickness of the glass. So select the outer line. We're looking at the dimensions of that. It's 140 by 30. Okay, so we need to create a box that's at least, let's say, 150. Make it a little larger, a little taller, by 150. This time the number of horizontal lines we'll need is going to be a lot more. Let's say 125. How about 135? The more lines you have, the denser the hatch lines will appear. Okay. Whoa, that's a lot of lines. Now we need to actually rotate this at 45 degrees. So hover on the corner of that selection, and the rotation symbol will come up. See that? There you go. Hold the shift key, rotate. And of course the rotations when you hold the shift key are at 45, then 90. So that's 45 degrees. Drag that above our selection. And what we want to do now is push this back. So arrange, send to back, and we want to now just drag and just touch the outer line only, because we don't want the inside line, just the outer line. Okay, and right click, make clipping mask, and voila. The only thing that's missing is the external line, so let's go back to here and make sure that the stroke has been selected. Go to your swatches and select black, and that's it. You've got your cross-section view. We do the same now with the rectangle. We're done.